Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Track Talk. Today's episode is an excerpt from Live from My Drum Room with Doug Cosmo Clifford of Creedence Clearwater Revival. He needs no introduction. And this little excerpt was from November of 2022. And in this little section, we talk about their incredible documentary, Netflix documentary, Live at Royal Albert Hall from 1970. We do a deep dive into a whole bunch of songs, and I'll put the link in there for the entire episode. It's a must watch if you haven't seen it. But in this little excerpt, we talk about a couple of tracks, specifically Born in the Bayou. I think we touch on Heard It Through the Grapevine at the beginning, and we end it with talking about one of his favorite songs, Lookin Out My Back Door, also one of my favorite songs by Creedence. So I hope you enjoy it, and I'll play the two tracks, Born in the Bayou and Looking Out My Back Door, at the end of it. So check it out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I'll see you on the other side. All right. Thanks.
Who will stop the rain? John said, "Don't play that." So finally, it was recording time, session time, and I played it the way I had worked it out, and nothing was said. Not that works. But what was said said in silence. I played it that way, and that's what's on the record now.
Yeah, yeah. And the little triplet thing during the rest is the bell of the hi hat, right? It's the top hi hat. Ding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I always thought it was, it sounds like a big cymbal, and of course the hi hat's a big cymbal. I always thought it was your crash. I thought it was, but mystery solved. The hi hat.
Yeah, mystery solved.
A couple of quick questions. So just back to Albert Hall for 1 second. It looked to me like the only mics on the drums were a mic in front of the bass drum. You had a closed front head, no hole, felt strip across it, right? Across the front head. No muffling inside the drum. Other than that, no pillows or anything.
No pillows. But there might have been a little rag in there. Trying to think.
But pretty open sounding, and one one overhead mic, Doug. Just one mic overhead for
just one, and it was working overtime. I'll tell you that.
Man, what a sound! What a I mean, and all kudos to Albert Hall, which is I've been there a few times, and it's a beautiful sounding hall, of course. Legendary, acoustically beautiful sounding room. So you had all that working for you, but just it just blows my mind to see that. And I'll just add to this what we've talked about, and it's the four of you guys on stage playing the songs. They sound just like the record, and that's all a tribute to you guys going in and not getting too crazy with tons of overdubs and things in the records. And I was going to ask you, were most of the records made with just vocal overdubs and you guys playing kind of live, the four of you guys playing your instruments together at the same time live?
Yeah, pretty much. Every once in a while there'd be like a keyboard thing.
Right.
It's used in Grapevine, for example.
Yeah. Have you ever seen The Rain? There's a Hammond. You can hear it in there.
A little right hand stuff, kind of back in the mix, little parts. So those types of things would definitely be there.
Watching too. So Doug, I have a couple more quick questions I want to ask you, and then I want to ask you some questions from the audience. In fact, I'm going to ask you this question from my friend Dan Peterson. What CCR song are you most proud of in regards to your contribution? If there's one.
But Born in the Bayou is my favorite Creedence song.
Okay.
And there's another example of a quarter note beat.
Yes.
And but instead of playing like this repeating of something I've already done with the quarter note beat with Susie Q, I play the accents instead of just the in between notes. Doom, 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 So that's just a badass tune.
Badass tune.
And,
Badass, yeah. And
I love that one. And but also heard it through the grapevine. We stepped out and did a long jam, and it was a rehearsed jam. But when we got in the studio, things got going, and I know I went off and kind of worked around what John was doing on his guitar, and he picked it up, and we did some real not played before parts.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really cool.
I'd say to me that's, and maybe there are others, but in my mind, that song is maybe where you maybe stretch the most, where you really hear used during that jam, where you really, I know, like where you're playing the hi-hat and you're almost like doubling the hi-hat and the snare at the same time, like I can't explain it, but I know the part you're talking about. Yeah, and you're going for a lot of shit during that instrumental. Yeah, and you don't hear you do that a lot. And
Well, we don't do it,
yeah,
and it was, but it was just spontaneous. It got going, and there were some parts there that when they got played, I either followed or led based on what was happening with the lead guitar.
yeah, yeah. So that was a case where while you guys were recording that song, John was playing that lead part live in the studio.
Yeah.
That was an overdub later. That was you guys playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's I mean that's when records were great. That's when bands, and that was what Steve Gadd was talking about when we talked about this. That's what he meant when he said like they're a real band like that plays music, and when
Yeah.
coming from that era. And I just want to talk about the studio too for a second. When you recorded, you have such a great organic drum sound. Your cymbals sound beautiful, your drums sound beautiful, and it sounds like um, it doesn't sound necessarily like the drums were close mic'd. Like it's a lot of room sound.
Yeah, that's true. There was a lot of that, and U87s and SM56 mics were, I believe, what we used, and U87s over the top for sure, and
Yeah.
we like doing it live. John would kind of talk through the lead thing, so we knew where we were, and just keep track of that. It's not a bad thing to keep track of. But yeah, we not a lot of frills and fancy stuff. Yeah, we rock and roll. And a lot of the songs done in like a couple of takes, would you move pretty quickly through the tune? Like you could pretty good take a good take in 1 or 2, 3 days. The majority of the takes were first takes. Wow. The majority of we rehearsed for a couple of months ahead. Yeah, weeks ahead. We knew when we went in, we didn't do like 10 songs and pick, or 15 songs, pick the best. And we went in with an album, note for note. Yeah. And that's how we did it. And we couldn't wait to get to the next bunch because we had played this stuff so much. So, if we get it done on a first take basis, that means the quicker we get to the next song and get us through this record and on to the next one, whatever it might have been. Yeah. Jumping back a second to you buy your Kemco set in 1969 at Drum World in San Francisco, right? Yeah. And that's where before that you probably were playing like 8 zillions
which is what everybody was playing those days.
Yeah,
Probably.
I had the zillion symbols. I don't remember, but they're basically the same. 22-inch ride, medium.
Yep.
That's with my biasy stuff. You tried to match, and but I think the biases are more of a rock and roll sound to me anyway. And Zolan have been around for so long, and they're putting their symbols to a lot of DeChristopher and all the big bands had Zolan symbols. And when Drumman came to me and I was breaking the crap out of these things, they said they would replace them free if I would do it to them. Well,
So,
sound like, and we'll talk about it. I really liked the sound. It was very present, and it really worked for me.
yeah.
So take care of it.
Did they, so 1969, Creedence was a known band. You guys were just starting to really take off at that point, or really had taken off at that point. So you could understand why. Did they connect you to Feisty Drum World, or did they?
Eddie Williams from Drumland.
Drumland, yeah.
He's the one that turned me on to Kempo as well.
Right.
In fact, I think he let me take a kid home to the factory to test out. And I said, I really like these. These have so much presence. And the hoops are meticulously put together. And it really has life, especially for rock and roll. So that was in '69 when most of those things happened.
Right. And right from the beginning, I know this is going back a long time. I've always been curious. The Pisces that were available in those days this is before the 2002s and a lot of the stuff they have now, pretty much just the 602s, I think, and maybe Giant Beat. But were those symbols like for Ed Albert Hall, for example, were those the Formula 602s, the 18-inch crash,
Yeah.
and the 20-inch ride, and the 18-inch? The hi-hats were two brass cymbals put together?
Yeah. The medium hi-hat was the better side, the top one. And then the bottom symbol was, for lack of a better word, the thick.
Heavier, yeah.
And it needed to be strong enough to take this concert. The symbols aren't usually put to that task, so it worked out great. I'm still using it.
Yeah, what a sound. And so that 18-inch crash that's on your left,
Yeah.
that's the crash that's on everything, right? Pretty much. I mean, that's
Yeah.
That's the crash.
That's the crash. But it isn't, because I use the ride symbol a lot.
Right.
But especially in Bayou,
Yes.
use it a lot. And then I use the bell on it a lot. And it's a 22. It's a 22-inch ride.
Oh, it's a 22. Okay, I wasn't sure. I made a note after watching told you yesterday, I watched the documentary again. And at the Albert Hall show, and this is how you play it, during Bayou, you can see you're doing these like quarter note you alternate between the ride and the crash, and you're crashing. And it's like this whirling motion, you know what I mean? You get into this groove of it's like a circular thing that it creates this like whirlpool kind of thing going. It's beautiful. So that's a 22, and it must be probably not that heavy if you can crash it the way you're crashing it.
Yeah, it was the medium 22,
Yeah.
22 medium ride, and so it was. I used it a lot, and I'm happy to say that I have two 18s crashes now. The old steady on the left hand side, but I've added one to the right hand side so I can have stereo crashes. How about that?
How about that? Yeah, I know. Wow. And that crash, that 18 that you used back then, that must have been pretty thin. Pretty
Yeah,
light.
that was the medium.
Okay. But it really responded. And that's, I'm thinking, like, Heard It Through The Grapevine and all the, like, you crash it a lot during that song.
Yeah, I use the 2 and 4 a lot. In fact, that's a part. If you take the song apart and look at the frame, that's the accent you want. You want it on backbeats. That has tremendous power and leaves room for the other guys and the odd numbers.
Got a bunch of questions. I'm not gonna go through all these. But he asked if you bought some giant beats while you were in England. Um, I'm guessing you didn't. I'm guessing you just had your stuff with you and.
Yeah, I just had my stuff really. As big as that tour was, it was very important. We played other countries too, but our main target was Albert Hall. We wanted to go into the Beatles' house and challenge them, basically. We love the Beatles, don't get me wrong. I'm an athlete now, so I'm very competitive. And there we were in their house looking out, so
Yeah.
there we go, boys. We're coming to get you.
What a show. What an amazing show. I so appreciate you taking the time to do this today, Daryl. Thank you again. But
No problem.
for anybody who hasn't seen the documentary, I mean, as soon as you're done watching this, if you don't have Netflix, subscribe to it because you just to watch this concert, it's unbelievable. And yeah, you play a great shuffle, and you play a great trend beat. I mean, the "Went Out My Back Door," the brushwork, and I mean, I would consider that a train beat, right? I mean, yeah. I mean, it's killer. It's just because it's not an easy thing to play. That's not. I can't. My band plays it. I can't play that the way you play it. Not that that's a surprise, but it's so effortless the way you play it. It's so clean and smooth.
Well, we would do gigs for like groups and organizations and so forth. Back in the day, brushes were a pretty prominent thing, and on record as well. So that's where I had my introduction to brushes. Just rewatch. It's so much so different than what you would play with a stick on in that situation. And so it required a little extra practice on my behalf. But yeah, it's kind of a country two-step thing.
Yeah.
And looking out my back door, one of my favorites.
It's a beautiful piece of music.
listening to Buck Owens. Looking out my back door. Tambourines and elephants are playing in the band. Won't you take a ride on the flying spoon? A wondrous apparition provided by magician. Looking out my back door. Tambourines and elephants are playing in the band. Won't you take a ride on the flying spoon? Bother me tomorrow, the day I'll buy no sorrows. Looking out my back door. All the troubles, Illinois, lock the front door, oh boy. Look at all the happy creatures dancing on the lawn. Bother me tomorrow, the day I'll find no sorrow. Looking out my back door.
All right, well, that's my show. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a like, leave me a comment. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and download the podcasts. But as always, I appreciate you watching and listening. And remember, no drummers are ever harmed on Track Talk or live from my drum room. And drummers, when in doubt, leave it out. I will see you soon with some new episodes. And again, I thank you for watching and listening. See you soon.